Okay, for today's class, we will do two parts of the, we will do in two parts, okay? The first part, I will be explaining to you about writing an essay story. And then the second part, you will need to tell me about your own essay, which means later I will need you to sit, no, I want you to be in groups. Okay, and then after that, you will do an essay, write an essay in group, whereby I need you to write in your own respective group slides, which I've already made the slides. So I'll be sharing the documents with you, and we'll need to edit the slides, and write your own group respective essay. Okay, but before you do that, I will be explaining to you first on how to go about it. Okay, so let me just um, share a screen with you. Sorry. Okay. So today, as I mentioned just now, we are going to do writing essay part 3, writing story. Since since kumpulan satu is also 5 angsana, I just decide myself that we are going to do writing essay part 3. Before this, we have done essay part 3, but the review one. Okay, so let me just recap with you. Kita buat recap sikit. Okay, before we go further, to make things easier for you, please on the caption. Okay, untuk memudahkan awak, on caption dekat bawah supaya kalau awak dengar suara saya tak clear, you can still understand what I'm trying to say by reading the subtitles. Okay, alright. So now, let me just continue. Okay, writing essay part 3, writing story. Okay, for part 3 of your paper, if you still remember, this part is a very formal part whereby dekat bahagian 1 you're going to write an essay kan, essay email, you're going to reply email. But then on part 3 and part 2, you're going to write essay. Okay, wait, that is a continuous writing macam biasa. It's a bit informal sebab you're going to tell a story storynya. But then in part 3, it's a bit of a formal part whereby you are given choices to write essay. And this part is the longest essay part in your paper. So sebenarnya kalau bahagian part 3 ni awak ada 4 pilihan selalunya. You will have it's either writing a story, writing a review, writing a report, or writing an article. Okay, before we go further, since there are only 7, including me here, do you mind telling your friends in group, kita kawan-kawan dekat dalam group, takut diorang tak perasan message yang kita bagi untuk masuk Google Meet, so diorang terlepas. So let's say kalau diorang still boleh masuk lagi kelas ni, so takut diorang terlepas sebab last week punya attendance I see semua masuk. So I need to know, takut diorang sebenarnya tak masuk because diorang tak perasan the link. So please tell your friends sekarang in your group or your class ke whatever, tell them to click on the link in the group YTJ just in case they did not notice the message I sent. Okay, so since kita dia ada 4 format macam teacher cakap tadi, is the story, review, reports and also articles. So reports and articles we put aside first, review kita dah buat hari tu. So right now we are going to do writing a story dulu. Alright, before we go on further, okay, sorry. Okay, so okay, this is actually short story in Form 1. And kalau you ingat lagi, you dah belajar short story ni masa you dekat Form 1. Never mind, sebab memang teacher nak cerita yang pendek, so teacher pilih cerita Form 1 and something that dearly for you, you dah pernah tengok. So I want you to just recap back, ingat balik cerita ni, and I'm going to ask questions later.
I am Lee. I am Raj. I am Sam. We are best friends. All three of them lived in the same road and were neighbors. Raj told Sam that the fair had come to town and his father would take them there. Raj said, "The fair is in town. My dad will take us there." Both Raj and Sam went to Lee's house to tell him about the good news. Raj said, "The fair is in town and my father will take us there." The three of them talked about what they would do at the fair. They will ride the ghost train, the big wheel, and eat lots of candy floss. Sam ran to the kitchen and asked for her father's permission. Sam asked, "Can I go to the fair?" Sam's father replied, "Yes, but don't come back late." Lee asked his mother to go to the fair, but Lee's mother said, "I'm sorry, Lee, but you can't go because I don't have money for the fair." Lee told his friends that he could not go to the fair because he did not have the money. Raj said, "You've got to come with us." Sam had an idea to get some money for Lee. She suggested that they do some jobs for their parents. She said, "They can pay us." Sam suggested they wash cars, do the shopping, and take a dog for a walk. Lee said, "Then I will have enough money for the fair." Raj, Sam, and Lee washed Sam's dad's car. They threw water at each other and laughed. Sam's dad was annoyed and said, "I will wash the car myself." Then Mrs. Green told the children that they could take her dog, Mickey, for a walk and paid Lee £1. Mrs. Green said, "Here's £1 for you." But Lee had to give the pound to the little girl whose ball was flattened by Mickey. Lee told the girl, "You can get a new ball." Lee was feeling sad because he did not make any money. A woman walked by and something fell from her bag. Lee asked, "What's that?" Lee picked up the purse and saw a lot of money in it. He wanted to return it to the woman. He said, "I can't keep it." Lee saw the woman at the bus stop. He returned the purse to her. She thanked Lee and said, "Here's £5 for you." The three children were very happy because they could go to the fair together after all. Lee yelled excitedly, "Now I can go to the fair!"
Alright. Okay, alright, sorry. Okay, let me just continue. Uh, okay, so just now we have watched the story that is Fast Fair. Okay, that story, the short story Fast Fair, is actually your literature piece in your form one. Okay, so the reason why I'm using this literature piece because I need you to recap back how to write essay, a short story essay. All right. Okay. Now, okay, what is the six parts of a story? Actually, when you are writing a story, you should be considering six parts of your story first before you start writing. Okay, the reason why your story selalu tidak interesting because your story tak ada betul-betul jalan cerita. So sebelum awak memulakan bercerita or you start writing a story ataupun you trying to tell a story, you should by right actually have six parts of your story first. Okay, that is number one, exposition, and then after that, conflict, rising action, continued with the climax, falling action, and the last one, resolution. Okay, so the exposition, okay, exposition, permulaan cerita, and in the exposition, you should be actually explaining the character of the story, siapa yang terlibat dalam cerita tu, dekat mana ceritanya berlaku, when, where, who. You kena set semua benda pasal story tu dulu. Set the early part of the story. You need to put the basis for the story ataupun foundation story tu dulu. You tak boleh pergi-pergi terus bagi tahu suddenly apa benda berlaku. So exposition selalunya ada benda mendasar sangat. You just explaining the background of the story. Next, you go to the conflict part. Konflik masalah, bukan masalah paling besar tapi still masalah. So what is your first problem in the story? What is the first problem yang datang dulu? Okay, So bukannya climax. Climax lebih kepada suspense. Ni cerita awak selalunya dia mula terus pergi kat climax. Tak ada permulaan naik cerita tu. So nak naik cerita tu dulu, you need to put some conflict dulu. Apa konflik yang pertama? Apa masalah yang pertama? Then you go to the rising action. The rising action also another problem that comes after conflict. That means problem pertama. Rising action is another problem. And then after that, you go to the climax. Climax, as the name states, climax. Climax ataupun suspense, it must be a suspense punya part whereby benda tu terkejut ataupun suspense. Agak-agak apa tanya akan berlaku. So, climax adalah bahagian itu. Okay. For rising action just now, tadi cakap rising action, selalunya konflik ni adalah satu masalah. Okay, rising action ni, there's masalah lagi tapi still tidak menyelesaikan lagi masalah yang pertama tadi. So konflik, apa masalah dia? Rising action adalah penyelesaian bagi masalah satu tu tapi masih belum selesai. Masalah tu masih belum selesai. Sebagai contoh, exposition. Contohnya teacher cerita pasal someone yang pergi dekat stadium. So exposition nak cerita pasal kita orang pergi stadium, nak tengok perlawanan bola dan sebagainya. Okay, konflik adalah pertama kali masalah dia. Contoh masalah dia, the wallet missing. Wallet dia hilang. Sampai dia dekat tempat tu, wallet hilang. Ataupun tiket hilang. Okay. So rising action adalah penyelesaian bagi masalah satu tadi. Iaitu mungkin you try to check in your bag or in your pocket the ticket. You try to find in every place kan, you cari you punya wallet. But still, you tak jumpa juga tiket tu dekat mana. Okay. So that is your rising action. Okay. Next would be the climax. Climax adalah masalah paling suspense sangat. So contohnya masa climax ni, contoh you dah cari tapi tak jumpa. But then the climax part, you pergi contohnya you pergi what to say okay, you jumpa dah you punya you baru teringat that you leave your wallet at the stall tadi you pergi makan. So that is the climax. Okay? So kita tanya, so dompet tu ada lagi tak kat sana? So that is your climax. Jadi benda tu buat kita tertanya-tanya. Okay, then after that you go to the falling action. Falling action maksudnya penyelesaian bagi semua masalah. So maybe you go to the shops and then you find the owner memang simpan you punya wallet and the ticket is there. So that is the falling action. Okay, and the resolution is the end of the story or the conclusion of the story. Contoh dalam cerita-cerita tadi, awak dah jumpa wallet awak, dah boleh masuk dah tempat stadium tadi. So that is supposed to be your whole storyline. So tak boleh daripada awal terus pergi kat climax. Terus tu terus pergi penyelesaian. You kena ada exposition, pengenalan, and conflict, one problem, rising action. The way you solve the first problem but then it's not working, and then climax. What is the suspense part of the story, and then the falling action and how you solve the story, and resolution the end of the story. Okay, selalunya pelajar dia akan pelajar selalunya suka pilih kalau ada pilihan soalan, mereka akan have this tendency to choose a story. Sebab pada dia orang cerita je. Kalau report nak kena cerita report pula, nak kalau artikel nak kena fikir artikel, susah, semua tu fakta. Tapi bagi teacher sebenarnya, personally I would say story pun it's not that easy sebenarnya, sebab when you are writing a story, you need to have the storyline dulu. Kalau you tak ada storyline ni, your whole story would be not much interesting, and the reader ataupun penanda yang baca essay awak akan rasa macam cerita ni hampir. So nak bagi cerita tu tidak hampir, you need to make sure that your story ada the 6 parts first. Okay, next. So let us try to label the plot using the stage that I mentioned just now first. So the fair was in town. Raj's father had promised to take Raj, Sam and Lee to the fair. The children were excited about the game. They can ride at the fair. Lee's mother did not permit Lee to go to the fair as she did not have the money for him. Okay, Lee told his friend he was unable to go with them as he had no money. Raj and Sam promised to help him. They talked about the jobs they could do to get money. The children washed Sam's father's car but ended up not getting paid. Sam's father was angry as they had messed up the washing. They took Mrs. Green Dog for a walk but get paid £1. You had to pay a small girl a pound as the dog had caused her ball to become flat. Lee still had no money for the fare. He found a purse loaded with money. He returned it to the owner who rewarded his honesty with £5. Lee finally had money to go to the fair. His two friends were happy for him. So in just 1 minute, try to stare dekat latihan tu. And then can you please tell me, point out to me which one is the exposition? Anyone? Which one is the exposition of the story? Anyone? Can you point out to me which one is the exposition ataupun pengenalan cerita ni dulu?
The first one. The
Yeah, it's actually the first one because you're telling about the fair was in town. Raj's father had promised to take Raj to the fair, and they are very excited to go. Okay, so that is the basic or the foundation of the story. Next, would be the conflict or the rising action. Okay, masalah yang pertama. Where is the first problem?
when he had no money.
Yeah, it's actually the second box je kan. So Lee told his friend he was unable to go with them as he had no money. That is the first problem. No money, what to do? That is the first problem. Okay, how they solve the problem is the rising action. So where is the rising? Sorry. Okay, yeah. Where is the rising action? Conflict rising action dah sama dalam kat situ sebenarnya. And then, okay, dia terus pergi pada climax. Yeah,
The fourth box.
the fourth box. Lee still had no money. He found a purse. Yes, he found a purse. Okay, that one kita fikir, mesti dia dah ambil dah duit ni. Okay, so that is the climax. Falling action would be,
The last box.
okay, the last box had money to go. His two friends were happy for him. If that's your falling action, where is your resolution? Okay, so sebenarnya cerita dia, this one is the exposition. Okay, dia bagi tahu cerita ni ada Raj, ada Sam, ada Lee. And this story is about, to go to the games, they can ride at the fair. That is your exposition, basic ataupun foundation of the story. Then the first problem is she has no money and then they promise to do together to get money. That is the rising one. Okay, the conflict. And then we have exposition, the conflict, and then the climax. Climax would be still had no money for the fair and he found a purse. He returned to the owner, rewarded this one. Okay, so was father, this one maybe the fourth, this one should be the rising action actually. Okay, so this one is the end actually, resolution. Okay, never mind. So I think by now you dah faham dah kot what I'm trying to say by this one. So let's just go to the next part. Okay, so before you start writing your essay, you need to understand the task. Okay, fahamkan dulu soalan tu nak pasal apa. And then title selalu dia dah bagi. Kalau untuk story, dia dah bagi title. And then you need to check the keywords dekat dalam the question. What are the keywords? And then you need to find out what kind of tenses you're going to write. And then make sure you check back your word limit. No, not your word limit. I mean the questions word limit. Because you have 3 parts. So saya takut awak macam mana? Awak confused. Sebab first part dah ada satu essay. Second part another essay. Bilangan patah perkataan dah lain. And then the third part is another one. But for this part, you akan tulis essay 200 to 250 words. And as I mentioned in your class, before this, memang sebenarnya tak perlu pun kira patah perkataan. As long as it looks like 250 words or should I say longer than the second part, should be good enough. Okay, next. Step 2 or plan. Okay, as I mentioned just now, you need to decide the setting and the characters of the story. That means the exposition. Okay, awak kena bagi tahu dulu setting dia, tempat dia kat mana, karakter siapa yang terlibat, and then what is the rising action, your first problem in the story. Okay, and then how you you resolve the problem. Macam mana you selesaikan masalah yang pertama tadi. And then the climax part, yang the suspense part, and then falling action, that means how the suspense has been resolved. And last one is the resolution ataupun penamat of the story. Okay, draft your essay in keywords and then make sure you draft your conclusion also, but it's linked to the title, must link to the title. And usually when, what I mean by link to the title, usually mesti ada kena-mengena dengan moral value. So bagi tahu moral value dekat dalam conclusion. Okay, step 3 that is writing. Okay, make sure when you are writing, the plot is very clear. Macam mana nak make sure your plot is clear? Use your 5 senses. Masa awal-awal cerita tu, dia ada exposition. Exposition tu you bagi tahu karakter dalam story you kan. Siapa yang terlibat. You tak kena bagi tahu this story is about, you boleh bagi tahu this story is about Ali has something. So you bagi tahu tu, but then try to put in your 5 senses. Or if you are in the story, kalau you dekat dalam story tu lebih baik, because you can tell apa yang you nampak, apa yang you dengar, apa yang you rasa kat situ. So for example, you boleh buat macam Ali is going to the school. He saw many vehicles on the road on his way to go to the school. So you bagi tahu apa yang dia nampak. Okay. Bagi tahu pula apa yang dia dengar. So on his way to the school, he can hear students, he can hear students talking to each other, bus vehicles honking here and there, and the whole street are very busy with traffic. So you bagi tahu pula apa yang you dengar. Tadi you nampak, sekarang you dengar. Okay? So those are the things yang you boleh jadikan cerita you lebih clear. So bagi tahu dulu apa yang you nampak, apa yang you dengar, apa yang you rasa. So you bagi tahu pula Ali feels very nervous to go to the school because this is his first day at secondary school. So you bagi tahu dulu what you can see, what you can hear, what you can feel. Okay, next. Check all the prompts because dalam part 3 ni dia akan bagi kat awak 2 point. Maksudnya dua-dua benda ni awak kena bagi tahu dekat dalam essay awak. So check balik whether awak dah jawab these 2 things. And then how long it should be. Body paragraph sahaja selalunya I would advise you to write 2 to 3 body paragraph. So if we include introduction and conclusion, it will become 4 to 5 paragraph. Not that long sebenarnya. 4 hingga 5 paragraph sahaja. Tak perlu tulis sampai 6 pun. Okay, then you have your conclusion. Conclude plus your moral values. Masukkan moral values like what you have learned. So from this story, we have learned that we must do something like that. Okay, add idiomatic expressions you know only. So kalau you tahu any idiomatic expression, you masukkan. Kalau you tak tahu idiomatic expressions, tak perlu masukkan. Sebagai contoh, ada pelajar dia suka tulis tahun lepas, dia suka tulis kataan couch potato. It's a good one because you know that word. But the problem is sometimes the words tak masuk dengan cerita tu. Kalau cerita tu pasal memasak, apa kena-mengena dengan couch potato? So macam tak ada kena-mengena. So only put idiomatic expressions you know. If you don't know any idiomatic expressions, then do not put. So contoh idiomatic expressions lagi, you can put like flying colours. Those few easy stuff that you know that around the corner. Those idiomatic expressions you can put sebab you tahu. Tapi kalau benda tu you tak tahu, do not put the idiomatic expressions. Okay, for example, ini contoh example of how writing a story part 3 question can be. Okay, so write your answer in 200 to 250 words in a perfect style on this question paper. Can we have anyone to read first? Amira?
Dari right atas kan, teacher?
Yes.
Write your answer in 200 until 250 words in an appropriate style on this question paper. Your teacher has asked you to write a story for your school magazine. The story must have the title, A Good Deed. Your story should include a description of the incident, what happened in the end. Write your story. Step 1. Analysis the question. Write your answer in 200 until 250 words in an appropriate style on this question paper. Nak baca sampai mana? Dekat
Okay, tak apa, cukup dah. Okay, so kalau you tengok the question itself, it says that, okay, write your answer in 200 to 250 words. Okay, the 200 and 250 words kat sini is the requirement of the task. Okay, as I mentioned just now, check the word limit, that is 200 to 250 words. Sebab ni memang bahagian part 3. Okay, your teacher has asked you to write a story. Okay, kenapa penting kita tengok whether it's a story or not? Remember, this is part 3. Awak akan ada 3 pilihan soalan. Kadang-kadang dia nak story, kadang-kadang dia nak artikel, kadang-kadang dia nak report. Okay, kadang-kadang dia nak review. So check first dia nak apa. So if it's a story, then you have to write a story. Okay, a story for your school magazine. So when it says school magazine, you know immediately that is who is your audience, school magazine readers. So make sure bila you bercerita pun, it is something that is suitable pada pelajar school, because yang baca nanti adalah school students. Okay, so make sure laras bahasa awak, okay, is very suitable for a school magazine reader. Okay, the story must have the title, so it's already a title over there, a good deed. So you know automatically this story is something about somebody doing a good thing for somebody. Yeah, somebody doing a good thing for somebody. So from the title itself, you know what is your task already. So write a story using the title given. Okay, so your story should include a description of the incident, what happened in the end. So as I mentioned just now, dia memang akan terang, dia tulis kat bawah ni 2 bullets ni. So bila awak tulis your essay, as I mentioned kat atas tadi, check all the prompts kan. Okay, prompts tu apa? Dia ni lah, check all the prompts. Maksud bila awak tulis essay tu, check balik, awak ada describe tak incident tu? Awak ada bagi tahu tak what happens in the end? Okay, kalau cerita awak hujungnya tergantung, tak ada penamat, then awak tak menjawab soalan yang kedua ni. So please make sure awak ada description apa yang berlaku and also apa yang berlaku pada hujungnya. Okay, so here dia beritahu use all the notes given in the prompt and elaborate with details. Give a suitable ending. Sebab belakang ni dah tulis in the end. So write a story. Okay, so bila kita fikirkan tenses kita perlu guna, it's a story, surely it's a past tense. Okay. So next, it's your part to plan your response. Okay, so bila kita cakap tadi description, in the end you dah tahu tajuk dia a good deed. So right now, you kena fikir dulu setting of the story ni dekat mana, siapa yang terlibat. So sebagai contoh, bila kita cerita kat sini perbuatan yang baik, somebody tolong somebody. The easiest setting atau tempat untuk cerita benda ni would be neighborhood lah ataupun dekat kawasan perjiranan. Mungkin macam biasa, kita tolong orang tua, jalan, intah jalan. Itu dah kira perbuatan yang baik kan? So it's the easy example lah. Ni kita cerita tak kreatif lah. Kita cerita, maksudnya cerita yang tak kreatif, kita tolong orang, maksudnya kita tolong makcik intah jalan, okay, settle masalah. A good deed already. So dekat mana dia berlaku? Dia berlaku dekat dalam kawasan perjiranan. So maybe the setting is the neighborhood. Well, the characters just now, mungkin kita fikir 2 girls, you and your friends, and then helping an elderly couple. So kita tukar sikit, helping elderly couple. Okay, the plot is macam mana cerita yang berlaku, the 2 girls walk to buy food. Okay, again the exposition, and then saw an old lady pushing an old man in a wheelchair. So that is the first conflict lah, kita cuma nampak kan, so susahnya makcik ni nak tolak pakcik tu lintas jalan apa semua. And then the climax would be the old man fell off the wheelchair, rush to help, maybe dia menjerit, okay, yang itu kita kata dia climax dia. Sebab bila dia jerit je, maksudnya semua orang terkejut kan. So that is the suspense part of the story. So what happened in the end? The ending, the 2 girls have the old lady and the old man, obviously. Okay, so you dah ada the whole storyline, you know what happens first, and then what is the first problem. Okay, mungkin the first problem you nampak makcik tu tolak makcik tu, alamat kesiannya. That is your first problem, kesian. Okay, the climax would be dia jatuh. That is your climax. Falling action you mungkin you pergi tolong dia. And then resolution would be penamat dia, everybody happy, everybody say thank you. Dah. Okay, so now, as I mentioned just now, ini parts of your essay. So number 1, please make sure your essay ada title. For part 3, mesti ada title. Essay you kena ada title. So dia dah bagi dah title you, a good deed. So, set the exposition first, set the character dulu, setting dulu, cerita tu bermula dengan apa, macam mana bermula cerita ni, orang boleh fikir tempat tu macam mana. So it was a scorching hot day. Okay, macam saya cakap tadi, terangkan apa awak rasa, panas. So Nicole and Chloe walking to a nearby shop in the neighborhood to buy some food for lunch. So we know this story is about Nicole and Chloe. What Nicole and Chloe doing is walking to a nearby shop. As they were walking, they saw an old lady pushing an old man in a wheelchair along the opposite road. So that is the setting dulu. Okay, so what is the first problem? Suddenly dia dah terus pergi lompat. Suddenly they heard a loud scream. They turned and saw the old man on the ground with his wheelchair. Okay, the old lady was trying to help the old man and her bags of groceries were in the ground. Kat sini dia lompat terus di climax lah. Sepatutnya kat sini dia ada lagi penerangan. Okay, Nicole helped the old lady to hold the old man up as Chloe adjusted the wheelchair to its position. They helped the old man, blah 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 blah, where are you going? And then they reached the pharmacy. This one is the falling action already. And then thank them. Okay, belakang pula ni conclusion, happy, proud, and then they done a good deed. So dekat sini dah conclusion, happy, proud, dah buat satu benda yang baik. Okay, so sini dah ada lesson learned. Dekat sini dia falling action, dah sampai reach pharmacy, dah thank them dah. Okay, dah settle. Sebenarnya, to make a good story, you boleh je cross. Maksudnya masuk sini. Tapi kalau I would prefer you do perenggan pertama, you bagi tahu tempat tu dulu. Maksudnya, dia bagi tahu apa berlaku, contoh Nicole dan Chloe ni apa berlaku, dia nak pergi mana, ada siapa lagi yang terlibat dalam cerita ni, ada makcik dengan pakcik, tolak pakcik dia dekat dalam wheelchair, and then dia bagi tahu apa you nampak kat situ, there are what, guna je perkataan there are, okay, bagi tahu apa yang you nampak dekat situ, apa yang you dengar dekat situ, apa yang you rasa dekat situ, itu panas, hari panas, you boleh dengar bunyi kereta, you boleh apa lagi, you nampak ramai orang bergegas lintas jalan. So bagi tahu dulu what's happening in the setting. Okay, and then the second paragraph, selalu teacher lebih prefer kalau awak bagi tahu the conflict and then rising action. Maksudnya konflik masalah dia yang pertama, makcik tu tolak pakcik tu susah-susah. Okay, and then the rising action would be makcik tu cuba tolak sekuat-kuatnya. Okay, makcik tu penat, nampak dia berpeluh-peluh. That is your first problem. You rasa kesian. And then the climax, you baru bagi tahu pakcik, you dengar suara menjerit, pakcik tu tergolek. And then you rush pergi tolong. Okay, that is your climax part. And then the falling action would be, you tolong angkat pakcik tu, letak atas kursi dengan berat-beratnya. Lepas tu you tolong tolak dia and then pergi tepi jalan. That is your falling action. And then the resolution, baru you pergi dekat pharmacy, belikan ubat, pakcik tu cakap terima kasih dekat you. That is your resolution. So you boleh nampak dia macam ada storyline. So I will not prefer like this. This one comes from a reference book. So put it aside. Lepas tu conclusion, baru you letak apa yang you belajar daripada situasi ni. Kita kena tolong orang tua. Jangan tinggalkan orang tua sendirian. Some people will be in bad situation. Okay. Tanpa kita sedari macam kita kena grateful dengan apa kita ada. Kita ada kaki lagi, so we have to be grateful. We need to help other people. Those are the things that you can put in your conclusion. So as I mentioned, pertama exposition, apa yang awak nampak, apa yang awak rasa, apa yang awak dengar. Kemudian konflik, masalah pertama, macam mana awak selesaikan masalah pertama. Then climax, apa yang berlaku, suspense part. Falling action, macam ni you selesaikan climax. And resolution. Okay, so this one dah penamat dah. So letter, I need you to be in your group. Okay, sebagai contoh, group 1, ini tugasan awak contohnya. The teacher has asked you to write a story for school magazine. The story must have the title. Okay, so dekat dalam awak punya slide-slide ni, teacher cuma letak paragraph 1, paragraph 2, 3, 4 and 5. So what you have to do is, I want you to be in groups and then after that try to write an essay in group. That means, cuba allocate dulu dalam group awak sendiri, siapa yang buat paragraph 1, siapa yang nak buat paragraph 2, 3, 4 and 5, siapa yang nak buat. Okay, and then tapi before you do this, you need to discuss in your group, what is the exposition of your story? Apa permulaan story awak? Kemudian apa konflik dia? Apa climax cerita kita ni? Apa falling action cerita kita ni? Apa resolution cerita kita ni? Saya nak awak bincang dulu dalam kumpulan awak. The easiest way for you to discuss adalah you boleh buat satu group sementara dekat Telegram and then try buat voice chat dulu dalam teammates awak, bincang dulu storyline, lepas tu baru sama-sama masuk dekat dalam Google Slide, sama-sama buat essay tu in the slide. So maksudnya pertama buat dulu Telegram voice chat sementara, bincang dulu your storyline, the six parts of the story tu. Lepas tu baru you masuk dekat dalam Google Slide yang teacher bagi. So every group dia akan ada berlainan cerita. So this one a lesson learned, group 2. Group 3 would be cerita pasal neighbours, a good neighbours. Meanwhile the group 4 would be talking about a narrow escape. So since sepatutnya kelas awak ada 12, so patutnya 12 bahagi 4 jadi 3 per group. But today we only have 10. Do you have any suggestion? Satu group berapa orang? Any suggestion tak? Satu group nak berapa orang? Kalau macam tu kita ambil 3 groups punya task pun tak apa. Kita bagikan kepada 3. Is that okay? So 3 per group dia akan jadi 3 times 3, 9. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Ya. Boleh? Kita buat 3 per group and then kita ada team 3 group. Okay.
We have 13 people.
13 tapi dekat sini yang masuk cuma 10, right? 9. Sorry. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Yeah. There's only 9 students over here. It's Safika, Amira, Hani, Jiha, Nur Hakim, Soleha, Alia, Kulia, and then who's using Zailin Rabiah's name?
Norna.
Norna. Okay. Okay, so macam mana? Tak cukup 13 ni. Afrika, Merah, Manis, Iha, Nur Hasil, Soleha, Alia, Ulia, dan Nona. Okay, boleh tak kita buat 3 dalam satu group? Sebab ada 9 orang saja. Kita buat 3 dalam satu group, lepas tu kita ambil 3 task saja. Who wants to be in group 1? Group 1. You choose yourself. Saya tak nak tentukan siapa yang nak jadi group 1. Task for group 1 is this one. This is task for group 1. Anyone? Group 1?
Me.
Afika. Okay, siapa nak jadi teammate Afika? Siapa nak masuk teammate Afika? Jiha. Okay, Jiha. One more. So Afika, Jiha, one more. One more. Yeah, 3% per group. Anyone? Afika, Jiha. Soleha boleh? Soleha nak masuk group mana? Okay, kita pergi pada group tu dulu. Group tu? Group tu siapa nak?
Can I check?
Okay. Hakim tu. Siapa teammate Hakim? Teammates for Hakim? Alia, Ulia, Hani, Solehah. Kita tak bagi lagi respon. Ha? Okay. Group 3. Group 3.
Me.
Me.
Okay. Amira, Ulia. Lagi seorang?
Ada Yasin.
Saya teacher.
Okay. Alia. So yang tinggal Nona
teacher.
dengan Hani. Ya. Ah.
Teacher, I join Lokman's group.
Okay. Solehah, Luqman group. Okay. So yang tinggal adalah group 3 tadi adalah Alia, Ulia dengan Amira. Alia, Ulia dengan Amira. Okay, group 2 tadi Hakim dengan Solehah. So teacher letak lagi seorang would be Nona. Letak seorang lagi Nona Okay. Dia maksudnya Nona masuk group Hakim, Solehah sekali. Kemudian Hani akan masuk grup Afikah dengan Jiha. Hani, dengar tak? Oh, Hani.
Dengar teacher.
Dengar. Sekejap. Kemana pergi si Nona ni? Dia dah terkeluar ke mana cerita? Okay, so nanti Salehah cuba try contact Nona untuk bincang guna voice chat dulu ke. Okay, so sekarang ni bincang dulu voice chat masing-masing. Kemudian try to edit the Google Slide lah lepas itu. And then after that only, lepas tu baru bila dah siap baru I open up your essay over here and then kita review your essay tu sama-sama. Satu kelas kita sama-sama review essay awak. Okay, so I'm giving you okay, so just now we start at 10:45. So 10:45, 11:45, lepas tu baru sampai 12:45. Okay, tell you what, I'm giving you 30 minutes. Yeah, 30 minutes to 45 minutes. So 30 minutes to 45 minutes, you discuss first sama ada guna voice chat apa semua, lepas tu buat essay together. Okay, paragraph tu bagi-bagikan. Kemudian at 12:15, 12 suku. Okay, 12 suku, teacher akan tunggu awak dekat sini. Pukul 12 suku, teacher buka je. Awak boleh leave awak punya meet ni, masuk balik pukul 12:15. Teacher tunggu je dekat sini. Masuk balik 12:15, teacher akan buka awak punya slides tu over here. So for now, teacher akan share dulu the link of the slides in your group and also the task in your group. Okay, clear?
Clear, teacher.
Okay, see you at 12:15.
Okay, teacher.
Okay. So I did not see any essay except for I think group one has started kot dah tulis. The rest macam you have done discussion or not? Can I know if you have done your discussion?
Discussion dah tapi dia punya tu belum.
Writing tu have not. Is it? Is it Saleha?
Ha.
The writing tu have not. Okay. Tapi the discussion done lah.
Ha.
Okay. Tapi since group one macam about to finish, sekejap lagi kita tengok yang group one je dulu lah as sample. The rest tu nanti kita tengok kemudian. Okay, so but before we go to group one, since nampak macam somebody is editing the group one punya slides, so let that somebody finish up first. Okay, can we Soleha, can you please tell me first, you are group two, right? Or group three? Group two.
Group 2.
Okay, Soleha, can you please know after your discussion, can you please tell us what is your exposition and then coming through to your resolution? What is the exposition, rising action, blah 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 to your last part is resolution. Just tell us briefly lah. What it is. What is the story going to be?
Lesson learned, we thought that macam kita orang boleh talk pasal driving, and at that time Lokman doesn't wear a seatbelt, his seatbelt. So we are heading to like our friend's house. So Lokman was driving, but he doesn't wear his seatbelt. So I asked Lokman to wear his seatbelt, but Lokman just said like it's okay, like the house doesn't like too far. So we started to argue, and the weather
So that is, okay, stop. So that one is your exposition. Okay,
yang
so can I know your first conflict? First conflict just now lah, you ask Lokman to wear seatbelt. That is your first conflict. Okay. Okay, what about your rising action and climax?
yang third, almost to climax.
Rising action, rising.
We started to argue, and yang alah, yang mula-mula tu I said like it was a cloudy day, so masa tu dah cloudy. Lepas tu
Okay, so you macam nak bagi hints of what's going to happen next. It's a very cloudy day. Yeah. Yeah, good. That one should be your exposition lah. Okay, bagus. That one is in exposition. So benda tu macam, you know, when writing novels, we have this imagery or something going to happen. Good. Continue. Okay, the first conflict you argue, and then rising action is, what is the rising action?
rising action like we argue, and like we doesn't realize that we almost arrived at the like traffic light.
Mhm.
and like I started to scream like to stop Lokman from driving, but it was too late because the road is too slippery because the heavy
Okay.
rain.
Okay.
Like
Understand?
after that our car was bumped to like the front car, so Lokman was injured badly because he doesn't wear his seat belt.
That is your climax.
Climax.
Yeah.
Okay, resolution like we like the people posted help us like go to the hospital. Hospital. Okay, like Lokman like macam pergi hospital, so sebab Lokman injured badly kan time tu. Lah after conclusion dia uh, cakap rasa sebab Lokman macam regretful lah because like he doesn't wear his seatbelt, so it was like our lesson to not to always wear seatbelt and not argue when we are driving macam tu.
Yeah, that's good. Okay, it's a good storyline. It's okay. Later you will just start writing lah. And since apa ni Nora join you for the discussion or not just now? No. So
And
no. Line
no,
je.
uh.
No. So kalau if not, you can put just now Amira Nuraisha entered and then I don't know what happened. So maybe you can put Amira in your group as well. Okay. Thank you Soleha. Okay, now we go
Teacher,
to
but we can just like write our story kan macam dah siap tu.
yeah. You can just write your story in the slides. Nanti I tengok.
Okay.
Because kalau let's say we have, because right now it seems like we don't have the second session for tuition. Kalau we have second session for tuition, kita boleh tunjuk you punya essay. So it's okay lah. Alright. Group 3 pun nampaknya macam still copying and paste from somewhere. So kita biar dulu. Group 1 macam tengah duk typing lagi. Who's typing? I guess Afika kot yang typing. Ke siapa Jiha? Okay. Seems like group 1 pun macam done already. Somebody from group 1 is either Jiha, Hani or Afika. Okay, it's okay if you have not finished. I truly understand that. I just need you like to brief us what happened in the first paragraph and then second paragraph, third paragraph. So just tell us briefly. No, we don't have to read. Anyone? Afika, Hani or Jiha?
Saya cerita.
Okay.
So, in the paragraph 1, exposition, there is this guy named Tommy. That saya cerita dalam BM boleh.
We can mix up. Tambah tempat English to BM to English. It's okay. Janganlah BM je. It's just, Go on.
There was e-sport.
Sama kita je. Tak apa.
There was e-sport tournament happening in his school that he read on a poster. He wanted to join. Dia tengah masa tu. So, dia pun fikirlah macam mana nak masuk sebab dia kena bayar fee untuk tournament tu. Dia suddenly terfikir yang it was early of the month and baru dapat gaji. So, he thought he could ask his mother untuk the fee. So, bila dia tunggu mak dia balik dari rumah daripada kerja tu, dia tengok mak dia macam tengah beremu. So, macam tak berani nak tanya. Dia nak sangat join the tournament, e-sport tournament tu. So, dia fikir and at the next paragraph, which prize session, dia ambil keputusan untuk curi the money, but dia akan bayar balik if dia menang tournament tu. So, dia pun curi lah duit.
Dia tak menang. Teruskan. Okay, that is your first conflict. Okay, continue.
So, dia pun curi duit tu and then dekat Climax, bila mak dia bangun pagi tu, mak dia tengoklah dia dompet macam ada yang kurang je duit ni. So, dia pun tengoklah anak dia and ask if he had taken any money. So, Tommy macam stunned and dia macam tak banyak fikir apa and dia terus like he said he had taken some money to buy exercise books for his school gitulah kan. Mak dia macam okey je lah kan sebab benda baik kan. Dekat college dia pun pergilah join tournament tu. Dah join masa tu dia tipu lagi mak dia yang kata dia nak pergi beli tu. Instead dia pergi cyberspace untuk the matches. And then dia kalah. Dia kalah. Sebab dia tak rasa trust kalah tapi dia rasa si mak dia sebab mak dia dah susah kerja malah hari-hari but dia curi and then tipu lagi. Dekat resolution dia break himself and go to apologize. Tu je story.
Okay, so that's the end of the story lah. Well, it's a good story. Some plot twist here and there. Bagus. Cuma, okay, betul lah sudah ada moral values and all. It's a good work. Thank you, Group 1. Thank you, Afika. Thank you, Jiha. Thank you, Hani. It's a good teamwork. Okay, now we go to Group 3. Set to present. Okay, this is Group 3 punya question. It's about good neighbors. Tell us something about good neighbors. So Group 3 is Aliyah and kawan-kawan dia. So anyone from Group 3? Aliyah, Ulia, okay, Mira. Do you want to tell us what's happened in your group? Paragraph 1, then paragraph 2, 3, 4 and 5?
In paragraph 1, Adam and Lily have new neighbor.
Okay.
Lepas tu masa dia main kat luar tu kan dia nampak ni neighbor ni. So dia tell their parents. And then so their parents ni wanna help them.
Okay.
But his neighbor ni like macam arrogant, tak nak bagi diorang tolong ni. So Mrs. Lee ni just give a good pendapat gitu, macam diorang just tak nak susahkan diorang je sebenarnya. Lepas tu bila dia nak macam nak grading them, siapa ni Mr. John tu macam tak layan gitu lah.
In other maksudnya the new neighbor tu tak very friendly tapi yang macam tu ke? Siapa yang snob ni?
Apa teacher?
Maksudnya sekarang ni does not want their help. Oh, maksudnya Mr. John orang baru tu tak nak pembantuan diorang tu. Macam tu? Oh. Okay. Okay, continue your story.
Lepas tu sebenarnya at one day Adam saw her Mr. John daughter tu dia play middle of the street without macam pengawasan orang tua.
Okay.
Lepas tu and then ada one car want to hit her but dapat diselamatkan oleh Mr. Lee ni.
Oh, that is a climax, is it?
Yes.
Okay, alright, continue.
And then Mrs. John ni macam tak sangka lah yang anak dia boleh macam gitu kat luar main seseorang gitu. Lepas tu Mr. John ni regret sebab being arrogant to Mr. Lee family. Then he very grateful lah.
Okay, so that's the end of the story. Okay,
Yeah.
so tell you what, sebab your story banyak character, you know. You have Adam, you have Lily, you have Mr. John, you have Mr. Lee, and then there is also sometimes you use daughter, the word daughter, you know. So there are many characters in your story. So what can help you is to make sure the whole story is clear. In the early part that is in the paragraph 1, maybe you can describe first Adam ni macam mana orangnya, Lily ni macam mana orangnya. Maybe you can put like macam Mr. Adam is Mr. Lee is a Chinese guy with a mustache on his face. He has white skin, something something, and look very dashing, something like that. So people can actually imagine how Mr. Lee looks like and Mr. John looks like. Maybe you want to put, dia anggap that neighbors tu tak nak friendly. So maybe you can describe that neighbors yang unfriendly tu, nak friendly tu muka dia garang ke or something. You describe dulu muka dia tu. So people can actually imagine how they look like. Maybe masa you terangkan Lily tu pun, dia boleh cakap Lily the little girl wearing skirt. So memang kita boleh imagine, oh, this is how Lily looks like. So it would be better, bukan tak okay. You punya essay is okay, jalan cerita you okay, but it will be better, lebih baik kalau you can, kind of explain first how these people looks like, and then you go on with your story. After all, it's okay. Okay. So, bagi group tu yang tak buat lagi, it's okay. Do not be disheartened or anything. What I want you to do right now is just finish up. If you want to still edit your essay, then you can still edit. Later I'll just mark and then post it in kumpulan satu punya group, the finished essay that you have done. Only thing that I need you to tell me, saya nak minta tolong leader for every group, maybe like group 1 siapa, Jiha or Afika. Like Afika contact me, bagi tahu teachers like group 1 dah siap. Okay, maybe Soleha from group 2 tell me your group if your slide have done. And then group 3 as well, if you have done, then Ulia maybe you can text me personally and tell me that your slide has done. So boleh I keluarkan nanti. Kalau tak, macam I masuk keluar, belum tentu you have finished kan. So when you have done, you bagi tahu I guess that's all for today's class. Thank you for joining.
Thank you, teacher.
Good.
Thank you, teacher.
Alright. Okay, bye.